reasons to trust God. Now, this can be an endless list of things, but this morning we will attempt to give what we believe are really important things to remember and reasons to trust God. Just to lay some groundwork, God is faithful to his promises. He's never made a promise that he was not faithful to and could not keep. Psalm 145 and verse number 13. With that, he has an unchanging nature. God has been the same from the beginning, and he does not plan on changing anytime soon. Malachi 3 and 6. God is sovereign and in control. We see in our world today that it may seem like everything is just all over the place. But know and trust that God is in control. Isaiah 46, 9 and 10. God is of divine wisdom. A wisdom that is above anything that man can do. He knows all things. He sees all things. Another reason to trust in God. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. To trust in God is to have an eternal perspective. 2 Corinthians 4, 18. And this morning, that is what we will attempt to do. To have an eternal perspective in our trust in God. If you don't mind joining me, let us go to the 31st Psalm. The 31st Psalm. And that will serve as our main text this morning. Psalm 31. And point number 1, God is strong and able to deliver. This is a Psalm of David, Psalm 31. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock. For in house of deliverance or defense you save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they laid privily for me. For thou art my strength. And to thy hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord. Now we see here in these first 6 verses a couple of things that we want to point out. Number 1, God is our rock. For a moment, let us talk about hope. Hope is not ashamed and is patient. Isaiah 49:23, and the kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord. For they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Hope is patient. Romans 5:5, and hope maketh not ashamed. God is not only a rock, but he is a deliverer. Psalm 40 and 17, I think, reveals our circumstance and who God is. Psalm 40:17, but I am poor and needy, yet the Lord thinketh upon me. Thou art my help and deliverer. Make no tarrying, O my God. Without him, we are poor and needy. But notice the Lord thinketh upon us. He is there to help us. He is the deliverer. God is the rock that will lead and guide us. Luke 1:79, to give to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. He guides us into peace. But not only into peace, but into all truth. John 16:13, howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that he shall speak, and he will show you the things to come. God is a deliverer. He is able to deliver us when we are trapped. Again, this is a psalm of David, and here in verses 4 and 5, David knew that his enemies wanted to trap him, to destroy him, to catch him off guard. Satan still wants to do that to us today. The enemy will lay traps to try to catch us in our weakest times and try to bring us down, to limit us in our ability to serve God and spread the gospel to others. 2 Timothy 2:26, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. But there is no fear. Again, another reason to trust God. God is strength in our weakness. God is so strong that there's no situation that he cannot get us out of. In any area in our life where we may feel weak or when we are at our weakest point, his strength is enough. 2 Corinthians 12:9, and he said to me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, I will rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me, says Paul, writing to the Corinthians. Colossians 1:11, strengthen with all might according to his glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness. God is strength in our weakness. He's able to make weaknesses strengths. God is the God of truth. Deuteronomy 32:4, he is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. How powerful. God is the God of truth. His work is perfect. God cannot lie. Hebrews 6:18, that by two immutable things which it is in which it was impossible for God to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope that is set before us. Our God is the God of truth. He is perfect, without iniquity, without sin. His ways are just and right. Others will lie to us, and they will reject God. And we understand that. We know that going into the preaching life. We understand that. There will be those that will lie to us. When others lie, when we lie, when lying is around, there is worship to the enemy. There's worship to the devil. Romans 1:21, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. When we lie, when lies abound, hearts are darkened. We know that God is light. We just revealed that he has no iniquity. There's nothing wrong. And so God is not a part of this darkness. 1 Corinthians 10:20, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with the devils. When lies abound, worship to the devil is that place. But notice, truth is pure and humble. Psalm 24:4, he that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who have not lifted up his soul into vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. Truth is humble and pure. Point number 2, we are weak without him. Reason to trust in God, we are weak without him. Verses 7 through 10, I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversaries, and hast not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. My eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul and my belly. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength faileth because of my iniquity, and my bones are consumed. He will consider us in our trouble. Isaiah 49:13, sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for the Lord hath comforted his people. And will have mercy upon the afflicted. 2 Timothy 2:19, nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal. And I want us to notice this point here. The Lord knoweth them that are his. He knows who you are. He knows what you're going through. He knows where you stand in this life. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. As we read in verses 9 and 10, there's a word that we want to point out. And that word is grief. There are different types of grief in this life and that people are going through. There's things such as physical grief, which can be emotionally and physically draining. And those that go through this feel a lack of energy to navigate through whatever grief they're going through. What about emotional grief? Grieving individuals may go through periods of anger and frustration. That can be directed towards themselves, towards others, or even the circumstances surrounding the reason for grief. Feelings of guilt and regret are common in grief, and individuals may harbor the thoughts of what could have they done differently, or may feel guilty about perceived shortcomings. What about social grief? Grieving individuals may experience social isolation as they withdraw from special activities or interactions. The pain of grief can make it challenging to engage with others, leading to a sense of isolation and loneliness. Grief can strain the strongest of friendships, especially if friends are unsure how to support the grieving person. Some individuals may find it challenging to relate to friends who haven't experienced a similar loss. What about spiritual grief? Spiritual grief can involve struggles with forgiveness either towards oneself, towards others, or even towards God. Individuals may question the fairness of justice of the circumstances surrounding the reason for grief. This grief may lead to a sense of loss of meaning or purpose in life. But the list of reasons to trust God is not end there. Let us jump down to verse number 20. We'll see that God will keep thee. Yet another reason to trust in God. He will keep thee. Let us go down to verse number 20. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications, when I cried unto thee. O love the Lord, all ye his saints. For the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. God will protect thee and show kindness to thee. Psalm 91 verses 1 through 4 say as such, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress and my strength, my God, and in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His trust shall be thy shield and buckler. God hears and rewards those that do. Our last place of travel here this morning, we'll go to 2 Chronicles chapter 33, beginning in verse 11. And just to give a little bit of background, we're talking about a wicked king to begin with. One that allowed idols and graven images in the house of the Lord. But notice what he does here. There's a change of heart. 2 Chronicles 33, 11 through 13. Wherefore the Lord brought upon them the captains of the host of the king of Assyria, which took Manasseh among the thorns, and bound him with feathers, and carried him to Babylon. And when he was in affliction, he besought the Lord his God, and humbled himself greatly before the God of his fathers, and prayed unto him, and he was entreated of him, and heard his supplication, and brought him again to Jerusalem into his kingdom. Then Manasseh knew that the Lord, he was God. If you continue to read down in that chapter, you'll see that Manasseh got rid of all the idols. He got rid of all the wicked altars that he had built. And God rewarded him for that. He took care of it. Brethren, this morning, be of good courage. Psalm 27:14. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage. He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Isaiah 35:3-4. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you. This morning, we serve a God that is all-powerful and able to deliver. Without God, this life that is full of lies and grief can be unbearable. God is a keeper and a rewarder of his faithful children. This morning, and for the rest of time, trust God.